You're right, so I'm just relaying a little bit of a conversation I had yesterday with a random lady that I met in the gym. I was sat in while I was doing my exercise, and she came over. She started chatting, and we'd never met before. And she was talking about nutrition at the time. So we're talking about I think it started by her saying she got a cold, and then we started chit chatting, and then. But she was very passionate about nutrition, so she's very clued up on being healthy with nutrition. And I kept poking around. I think I said something along the lines, well, you must have come in. It must have come in handy during what was going on a couple of years ago with Divock, and she kind of avoided that part. And then when we were chatting a little bit later, I said, I've got to ask. I'm dying to ask. Did you go along with it? And she's like, I think she was a bit not. She's curious why I was interested, but she was like, no, I didn't buy into it. And she was aware of like the theory of people that shouldn't be in power wanting to depopulate the current statistics we've got of the Earth's population, of its populace. So she was clued up on that. I think she just had her natural instinct, and judging on what she could see around her, she didn't buy what happened a couple of years ago. But to get to the main point of my video, it was more to do with, we were talking about the stuff going on up in the sky, the stuff the plane's leaving behind. And she said something I thought was really interesting, was she'd heard of theories of like a intergalactic battle or something going on up in the sky, but people will at first snigger at that, but just hear me out. So what triggered in my brain is, I know the Bible talks about heavens, there'll be a battle in the heavens and the earth. And if you have heard about the firmaments, so for example, there's that theory that we live under like a glass dome, rather than the round Earth, the spherical Earth. I'm not necessarily a flat. I'm just very open minded. I don't know either side. But one thing I do know is the kind of people that push the globe are all in the mainstream media, and we're all pushing that nonsense from a couple of years ago and pushing stuff like transsexualism, and they all push the same messages, which are all very satanic. It's being done in a nice, friendly, jolly sort of gay way at the minute, but in reality, with this kind of stuff that they're pushing is very sinister. Like encouraging kids, because encouraging kids to do LGBT stuff, and so when you think about the stuff they're into, I mean, you can see it's all very anti-human. So yeah, but to go back to the biblical side of it, I know there is a time when it talks about the end times, which is the times we're in now, really. Like you can see with the mark of the beast coming in, what's it called, transhumanism, where you start merging technology with humans. That's on the way in pretty soon. Everyone carries, apart from me and people like me, I don't carry an iPhone around me, but you see people that that phone is glued to their hand pretty much all day. It's like the new. You look back on photos of people from this time period, and they'll all have these funny rectangular things glued to their hands, or looking at them all the time. I saw an interesting statistic actually today that apparently in the year 2000, only 2% of the world used the internet, or I think the actual statistic was for Russia, but 2% of Russians use the internet, and by now we're up to 90%. In Europe, I think it was about 20% used it in the year 2002, and nowadays it's about 90% use the internet, and let alone how much we use the internet generally as well. But another thing that she mentioned as well, she was talking about how these people that pushed the old poke in the arm, they want to save money essentially, and the way they'll do that is by getting rid of the elderly population. The less elderly people, the less pensions you have to give out. You can see it now with the winter fuel allowance. They've obviously stripped that away, while they're giving all these new arrivals everything they can with the hotels, etc. And probably when the old population die off, who've worked hard all their life, paid the taxes whole life, paid the mortgages off, and then they'll chuck these Tyrone, Mohammed and Abdullah, who think they're owed something by Britain, they'll chuck them into a nice new house or bungalow that this elderly person's died in, for free, and probably just paid a mortgage off there and then using our taxes. So there was that. There was another lady I knew. She worked for Labour, and she'd heard them discussing how to get rid of the elderly population, but it was only kind of a semi-joke. You know, in reality, they're probably being serious, but they're presenting it as a joke. You know, like masking their sinister intentions, which we're all seeing now. You know, going back to the stuff in the sky, shall we say? There was another lady that I met probably about 2 years ago. She hadn't taken all three of these women I've mentioned didn't take the poke in the arm, but she was talking about another theory with what's going on up in the sky. So as I look out my window now, the sky's completely grey, completely covered over, and I don't think it's by cloud either. I think it's all the stuff left behind by the planes, because it's perfectly blue skies this morning, and then it's always the same scenario. If you look back on that Glastonbury video I made a while ago, the museum one, there's a lovely blue sky. Then the planes come in, start spraying stuff, and then it slowly drifts out, spreads out, and then sort of fills the sky and covers it over. It's like they're trying to cover it. And this lady I met though, she was saying that there's another sun, I think it was. There's another planet or something that's coming into view, something along them lines. But they don't want us to see it. And this ties in nicely with what this lady at the gym was saying last night. She was saying that apparently the sun gives out codes like with its rays, and obviously there is some truth in that, because obviously our skin absorbs the sun. You know, is what gives us life, and it's at this time period post 2020, it's giving out different information, because everything's got information in it. You know, like everything, energy, calories, frequencies, everything's all about energy. You know, your food, your water. You know, if you're tired, you know, you'll eat something, it lifts you up because it's energy. Same can be said with the sun. If you're not getting enough sunlight, you know, you can feel quite fatigued. So it is all about energy. But also within that energy, you've got sort of codes. And that's what she was talking about. Basically, they're trying to stop us getting these sort of codes into our skin, into our bodies. And that was another sort of... It's all very far out there sort of thinking, but... I don't know, I just thought I'd talk about it, share it. If it interests you, it does. If not, then that's up to you. But yeah, I think that's it. Cheers.